just been to Five Guys. Have you ever been? What the f***? I didn't really pay much attention to the prices as I was ordering. I thought, I'll treat myself, be alright. So I had a burger, and you get a load of free toppings. Toppings are free. Woo, fucking not, you're paying for it, I'm telling you. So I got that, and regular fries, and a drink. And it... £16.70! What the fuck's that all about? I even had to get my own drink. Standing there, waiting for them to just... Oh man, what £16.70 for one of the shittest burgers I've ever had as well. Absolutely rank it was. Most of it ended up on the table because burgers these days are that fucking big. They should be like, give it an inch, 2 inches. I want to be able to pick my burger up.
Welcome to the show. Before we get started, we have some new additions to the FPP lineup. Mr. Owen McCafferty is going to be on the next few upcoming shows. Both Owen and I are great home movie enthusiasts, shooting both 8mm and Super 8 film. And Owen is responsible for igniting the idea of bringing back regular 8mm film and home processing your own regular 8 black and white as well as Super 8 black and white and Ektachrome. This greatly brings down the cost. I mean, that's the whole thing, cost of shooting home movies on film. And we're trying to bring down those costs so it makes sense for you folks at home to go out and shoot home movies on film and do it yourself. FPP listeners will, of course, recognize Joby, Joseph Brunjes. He is joining us today in a few minutes, as well as the rest of the gang. Matt Marash is not present. He could not make it this time. He will be back in the coming weeks. And our super special guest, Mr. Ethan Moses. He and his company, Camera Dactyl, are bringing a 3D printed 4x5 camera to the market. It's already available, as well as other various fun stuff like grips, 3D printed grips for your 35mm SLR. And we're going to be talking about that as well. We'll be right back.
A brand new outboard motor. Adventure ahead. Only seconds to take this wonderful picture. But that's time enough for Mom and her new Ansco Cadet, the A+ snapshot camera from Ansco that's always ready when you are. Hasn't this happened to you? You see a great picture like this, but it's gone before you can focus your camera. But not with the Cadet. You just set this pointer, look through the picture window viewfinder, and it's yours, in color or black and white. No focusing, no dials, no nonsense. No need to pass up those night shots either. Just clip on the Cadet flash unit and you've got it, just as you saw it. The complete Cadet camera outfit. Everything you need for easy picture taking is yours for only $11.95. Whether it's color films, black and white films, cameras, or projectors, if it's from Ansco, you know it's A+.
Okay, so hey, my name is Michael Raso. This is the Film Photography Podcast, and today we're accomplishing a new technological experience of having many people around the table. Really, this is unbelievable.
7.
Okay, yeah.
That's like 3 more than usual.
So with us is Leslie Lazenby.
Hello, my beautiful lovelies.
Owen McCafferty.
Guten Tag.
Mark O'Brien.
Hey there.
John Fedele.
Dadu.
Mr. Joseph Brunjes.
Hello.
A.K.A. Joby.
That's me.
Okay, I just want people at home to know. Like, you're Joby to us.
Yes.
For a while, I was calling you Brungy. I didn't know. But then the Joby stuck.
Right.
That's
and
your.
I drive the Brunchmobile.
It was a
And as Matt said, I brunch things up.
I used to say, I'd be like, I'd turn to Matt and be like, that Brunchmobile is going to be like rolling in any second. And it was, to me, it was like a Beverly Hillbillies kind of thing.
Oh.
Where like all the stuff piled up.
Grandma's on a rocking
Granny
chair.
on the rocker and top.
We have tripods and lenses falling out the back.
And we have an empty chair for Mark Dalzell. It's a wooden chair.
Splinters in the seat.
And there's no microphone.
He'll just talk away and not even notice.
The last guy gets the wooden chair.
That's right.
Then has to pay.
And John has his mic.
And I'm using Mark's mic.
His mic has a gold.
This is the sound of me licking your mic, Mark.
Mark has a gold-plated mic head on his mic. Super special guest, Mr. Ethan Moses.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Ethan is a native New Yorker who now lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Booyah! Wow! Booyah! Wow!
He is the inventor of the Cameradactyl OG. That's the 3D printed large format camera. He does all sorts of shit over there. He makes butter.
It's a butter container?
Yes, he makes
Lovely.
butter. You make super grips. You make grips. So we're going to talk about all this stuff.
Matt had one of his cameras out in California, right?
He did. Yes.
Part of this camera.
Yes, this camera right
Oh,
here.
there it is. How'd that get there?
I think we're okay on audio.
Yeah.
The problem is the Zoom mic, like the actual display, like, it goes dark. So I can't really see it because there's not enough light here.
Holy shit.
So welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone that's listening. And I think we should open up talking to Mr. Ethan Moses because you are the guest. I'm so thrilled you're here.
Thank you.
I am thrilled, people at home. Seriously, like when new people come in, I'm like really nervous because I'm not nervous for me. I'm nervous for them, because not everyone is as cool as Ethan is.
Medium cool at best.
He came in, as soon as I saw his face, I knew. I'm like, this guy is okay.
Yeah.
Did I get everything right about the intro?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, good. Now, I know, Joby, you probably have a lot of questions.
Yes, I've had.
Just take the mic from John.
John doesn't want to talk.
Now, tilt it up a little bit.
I had the last half hour or so to kind of play with your camera, and this is a lens that Mike sent you to put on it, so I had to first figure out how to work his lens because it had UV numbers on it, and I got confused. But I guess what inspired you to make something like this? I mean, I remember a number of years ago there was some people made something called the Travelwide. Is that kind of? I remember having problems. People were having trouble with the helical mount and things like that. So tell us a little bit about what made you want to make this.
Like, how did you come up with the idea to even create such a thing? And that's not even mentioning the fact that people that do intense 3D work, I think people at home that buy these things think they just come out of the mold like that. There's polishing involved. There's trimming involved. You're talking about time. Leslie Lazenby.
How long does it take to make one?
Yeah, I think this camera takes about 45 hours to come off and maybe an hour to assemble and get working well.
And finished?
Yeah,
So
it might take another 2 or 3 hours. at
50
somebody's
hours,
company.
roughly.
Yeah, but I mean, I got 12 robots in my back room making them, so I spend the hour doing the assembly. And
Is that what you call those young kids?
Completely legit.
Yep. Yeah, so I started, I make things for a living, like industrial electronics and things like that, and I had a 3D printer for a different project sitting on my desk a little bit around this time last year, and I have always used cameras. I have quite a lot of them, and I started making like a fold-up 4x5, based on a Deerdorf. And that was like a 140-hour print, which took me 3 months to figure out how to get everything together. But I only had one printer, so I would come up with something and print it out, and then 12 hours later I could measure it and say, hey, this stinks, and make some changes. And so that took me a long time until I had about 4 printers for prototyping. And then I ran this Kickstarter. It was medium successful at best. which kept me busy for like a month and a half, just printing them all day, every day, running 10 printers for 24 hours a day. And I do not want to sell too many of them after that. I feel like, if I charged a reasonable amount of money for how long it took to put them together and fold all the bellows, you'd be better off going buying a Busch Pressman D. Great camera. Is my head. I started making grips and other like little simple accessories just to keep the 3D printing biz afloat while I prototype some more complicated things I'd like to make. And somebody asked me for basically like one of these for a Schneider Super Angulon XL 47mm lens. And I said, like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of work. Yeah, I think you could make them pretty cheap after the first one, but the first one might be like 10 grand worth of time. And so I like hemmed and hawed and went away for, I don't know, a week or two, and then I had some free time and kind of couldn't help myself. I do know about the Travelwide. My grandpa was a World War II photographer and spent a lot of time with like aerial mapping cameras, which I think the Travelwide was based on.
Like a cone, a fixed cone that had.
Sure, yeah. Like I think you can see pictures of like Dorothy Lang and a lot of the FSA photographers with like 5x7 sheets and rolls. And so those all sort of played into it. Obviously, I knew about the Travelwide. It had a lot of issues with, we think of plastic as sort of like waterproof, right? But it still absorbs water, kind of like a sponge on a microscopic level, and it swells and shrinks. And so, the trade-off is, do you have a really tight helix that has no wobble, or do you have a loose helix that won't bind? And so I remedied a little bit of what was going on back then by having an adjustable tension focus ring, so you can always make it a little tighter or a little looser. In fact, I have shipped them overseas. I'm in a high desert where it is dry and has been pretty cool in the wintertime. It's like at 5,000 feet, and then they'll get to, say, Taipei, where it is 90 degrees and 90% humidity, and they'll say, hey, the focus ring doesn't work, but at least on mine there's 8 screws you can remove and then put it back together and it will work. So,
and for folks listening at home, we're talking about a 3D printed 4x5 camera that you purchase your lens separately, and you would tell Ethan via email what lens you have, so he'll modify the camera so that it will work, I guess, from a technical perspective. We're talking about Travelwide. So that was a few, 2, 3, 4 years ago. There was that was 3D printed as well?
No, it wasn't. And actually, this is why I'm so impressed with them, is that they injection molded all of them. So they may have 3D printed the first master, but I think, this was almost 10 years ago.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was that long ago.
I'm not good with dates.
Do you know those guys?
I don't know them. I would love to meet them. I know their work. I am very impressed with it.
Are they still doing things, or they have they been beat down by Kickstarter supporters who have literally stormed their castle with torches and beat them with the torches while lit?
I've never talked to them personally, but what they did was, I think, really impressive, which was on a small scale. They injection molded all of these things, right? So you could only get cones that would fit 2 different lenses, and I think that was the thing to do back then. It was like highly aggressive to say, we're going to make 5,000 of these things and just have them made at an injection molder is no joke. It's not something I set up in my back room, and I think it didn't give them the ability to tweak every camera. Right? I try not to do a custom job, but I will take just about any lens and build a lens cone for it. And if a piece comes out bad, I just print another one.
What do you have kind of recommended focal lengths? Like you're thinking more on the wide side, or
what's the
longest you put on one?
So the length of the body, because it doesn't have a bellows, is determined by it's the infinity flange focal distance of the lens, which on like a Nikon or a Canon would be a set flange focal distance, depending upon whatever that lens mount is. Large format cameras traditionally were not limited in this way. You could have a 150 millimeter lens that focused at 170 millimeters, or one that focused at 140, depending upon however they wanted to design it. And so, depending upon the lens and depending upon its focal length as well, like the manufacturer and the focal length, the these cameras can get like pretty huge. I've made a pretty big one for I think up to like a 203 millimeter lens once, but generally, the most popular ones are like 135, 127, or a 90. I've made them down to 47 millimeters. They get kind of pancakey at that point.
One of the things I really like about it is that most of you know that I have a Raso, which is this old Polaroid 900 that's converted to shoot 4x5, and the thing is just a beast that's heavy, and holding this thing is so light. And it's you have a ground glass on here, but I imagine that most people are kind of street shooting that's using a viewfinder and kind of guessing focus.
Yeah, so it's got a tripod mount and a ground glass. The ground glass, as I use it, I just use it to calibrate. I use like little marker ticks up here, and I scale focus it. But few people break out the focusing cloth and use it that way. But there's no swings and tilts, so I think real landscape folk are not using it a ton, but a lot of street people are.
Well, the larger the format, the less depth of field you get
right
at any given aperture, and that's one of the hard things about making something this big is that you have to try to compensate for that by stopping it down a long way, so you need lots of light. This is if you're street shooting, it's an outdoor camera, it's not an indoor camera. I have a hard time shooting my Raso inside because the viewfinder is kind of dim. I like the way the ground glass is just it's held in place with just enough tension so that I can get a holder in and out really fast. I like that you've got a nice the grip. I've been holding. Everybody's standing here looking at me holding this grip, just kind of squeezing it. This grip feels really great. I have big hands. It feels really great in the hand, and it has a nice hole in it so you can get your cable release in, so you can shoot. My Raso's is on the left side, so it's nice to have it actually be on the right side of the camera.
It looks like one of the old Polaroid fixed cameras.
Yeah,
I have one of these on my mantle at home. Yeah,
it's like the same size.
For folks listening at home, I do want to give. So how did this all come to be? So Matt, that's why Ethan. I tell you, I liked you from the beginning. I'm like, this is an awesome guy. Matt kind of trashed it from the perspective of a 3D, like, another 3D, because Matt is a super large format shooter, and skeptic of like, I'm tired of this stuff. But you took the right approach.
Thank you.
You sent an email like, hey, I want to prove you guys wrong. I want to send you a camera so you guys can shoot with it, so you can see that this thing is pretty awesome because it's your baby.
Yeah.
So you did, and we shot with it. We got some great shots with it. Matt had a borrowed lens. So after San Clemente, the Fedele we were at, I took the camera back to New Jersey, no lens. I found the Polaroid lens, and then contacted you, sent it to Ethan, and then you refit it for this specific lens.
And what you would do, I guess, once you got your own individual camera, you would use the ground glass and set distances by marking them on.
Exactly.
That way, you would, if you were street shooting, you would not need the ground glass in order to get a zone focus type of. You could even put two blokes in a mountain.
There you go.
Yeah.
This camera, are you making this camera as a gateway camera for people to try large format?
A little bit of both, right? So I understand that 4x5 is not just like a film you pick up at the drugstore. It's a lifestyle change. You got to have, some place to develop it, or some tanks and some chemistry. You got to go buy a lens. It's, I would say it's split between people who want to try 4x5 for the first time, or there's a bunch of people still shooting some peel-apart 4x5 Polaroids with it. People like me who have maybe shot 4x5 or 8x10 for 10, 20 years, and then, even a speed graphic is fun, but it's not super fun to shoot stuff on the street or things moving around.
Grab and go.
That Polaroid back for the pack film, or is it too tight? I didn't try. I brought mine with me, but I didn't try.
The 545i?
Yeah, I think so. I have not shot any Polaroid with it, but Matt sent me some real nice pictures from it. I take it backpacking a lot, where I would like swings and tilts, but also, if I'm out for 4 or 5 days, I don't really want to carry all that stuff, and this you can just throw in your bag without a bag or anything around it. I've been shooting a lot with it backpacking, and it is not much bigger and a lot lighter than my Nikon F2.
I have a Chamonix 4x5 that's only 3.5 pounds, and this is very similar to that. And it's just so compact, it's small. And,
I think that should be around 2 pounds and 7 ounces
You ought to
with
put
the lens.
neck strap lugs on it.
You know, this is something I have been thinking about.
What other colors does it come in?
It comes in just about any colors, including glow-in-the-dark, although I would not recommend it for fogging your film. I sell limited numbers of things in glow-in-the-dark. I do color change, like pink to purple and green to yellow. Usually I just print them in, one accent color, and the parts that are black are black.
I thought you were going to say it comes in any color you want as long as it's black.
No.
It's a Henry Ford quote.
So a lot of people have come to really dig that my cameras are all sorts of crazy colors. I got into that just because I was buying whatever the deal of the day was on Amazon when I ran out of plastic, and kind of just rolled with it, and now... I get a lot of orders that are just all black everything, but then I get, like... hot pink and silver.
Hot pink.
Now, do you have an array of 3D printers? Do you have like 3D Printer Central? Do you have a 3D room?
Yeah, I talked to my girlfriend about this.
Aren't all rooms 3D?
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, I have the 3D room. I have 12 3D printers right now. Two
What's
of
all
them
this junk?
One needs to be assembled, and one needs to be more disassembled, and about 10 of them are running.
Do you have to have any sort of special ventilation for the room that they run in? Or?
Yes, that's best. It depends what plastic you're using. It's always best to have some ventilation.
Sounds like a good time.
ABS smells like you're about to die. I don't like printing in that, but PETG and PLA.
Has 3D printing, quote unquote, come a long way in the last 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Has it been 10 years?
At least.
Yeah, at
Oh
least.
my God.
At least.
Feel like it.
Really?
It's come a long way, and mostly it's come down in price, right? Because of cell phones, because of the ability to buy electronics from China for basically nothing. A 3D printer is now, you can get a decent one for about $200. You can get a bad one for $90 and make it work with a little bit of time. I'm really excited about one day. They're still about $100,000. They have metal 3D printers that use a laser to sinter a
that would
metal
fix
powder
the
in
Kodak
place.
XL cameras. Metal printer.
Oh, really?
Sure would.
You can make a part for the part that's broken? A Kodak XL camera is a series of Kodak Super 8 cameras that came out in the late 70s.
Mid to late 70s.
And there's a notorious gear that
Motor
just
gear.
breaks.
Mm-hmm.
In every single model.
Okay,
Not
so
a
we
current
have a job we're going to talk about.
Okay, I think that's probably not a 3D printing job so much as a lathe or a mill job. I mean, how many of them do you need?
Well, they probably made 2 million cameras.
How big is the
we
part?
Get started now. It's a gear. it's a gear that's about that big.
Do you have one?
No, I don't. You'd have to take it apart. The problem is, like, the minute you pick it up, that gear will disintegrate.
What?
Yeah.
What if you had them done in aluminum? Would that be the best?
The aluminum or maybe even brass?
Do you know how to take the camera apart?
Yes, to look at the gear, yeah.
Is this a good camera?
It is the best Kodak Super 8 camera they ever made.
What has reaction been? Like, tell us about, first of all, the reception to what you were doing, the hate mail you received from, like, traditional, old, crusty, large format photographers like Matt Marash. Matt's not old, by the way.
He is crusty.
And did you get any... Stop it.
What are you doing with that butter?
I am.
She wants butter.
What was the reaction to your,
It's been mixed, but it's been surprisingly a lot of reaction. So I made the first camera, just this little folding camera for myself, and then I thought, like, I could probably sell a bunch of these. People would like them. And then, I didn't sell 1 million of them on Kickstarter, but I sold like 4 or 5 times as many as I thought I would, which was great, although it took me forever to fill those orders. Yeah, so I think people were into that. I got a lot of press, and then I started making these grips, which, like when you put a hot pink grip on a Leica M something, people get real angry, but...
That's sacrilege.
No.
What are you doing with the Leica?
Yeah. I think there was some Petapixel article where there was a lot of, like, go kill yourselves to me.
People are the worst.
People are mean, aren't they?
They're the worst.
The thing is, like, for every 2 go kill yourselves, I sold, like, 3 or 4 grips, and so I, like, felt like...
Press is good
okay,
press.
yeah, I could take that. This is pretty good. Yeah, people have been really digging this camera. I don't think it offends too many people because it doesn't attach to... whatever, but hopefully my next invention will tickle some
Does
people.
it come
in the
with a
wrong place.
warranty?
No, I haven't had to have like
No problems so far?
official warranty. I think nobody yet has gotten one that's broken, although I think in a couple hundred grips I've shipped one or two that have broken in the mail and I just replaced them, but yeah.
As it looks to me, it looks like the only thing that would even possibly wear out over time would be the rubber band, rubber bands holding the ground glass on the back. Is that something that's readily available, or something that you could supply extra ones for, or what's?
Yes and yes. For like $5, I buy a 100-foot roll of elastic cord.
Yeah.
On the original camera, I used rubber bands, and those wore out pretty frequently, and were not as really tight as this guy. But,
I'm sorry. I can't wait for Mark to get here. He has no mic. Joby has his mic. He has a little folding chair.
Time to wake this show up.
He's just going to be like,
Get out of my chair.
He's going to say, no, Mark will just...
No, get the mic. Talking to the mic.
He'll just hang his head and just look accepting while wishing your death internally.
But he'll be thinking of revenge, right?
Oh, my God,
He'll be the one commenting, go die, on the FPP page.
He'll be like, okay, no, it's fine. It's all right. Whatever.
Okay.
Go kill yourself.
So, did you receive any emails from Matt, or just you heard it on the show?
Yeah, well, so I'm a regular
Those
listener
were the
to
ones
show.
telling him to kill himself.
No, you and Matt were not mean emailers. Yeah, no, I was a regular listener of the show. I think my favorite show to date is the Sam Sherman episodes.
Everybody loves
I
Sammy.
sent you some of those,
emails.
You should introduce them, Mike.
Wow.
Give him his phone number.
I sent you a letter. I mean, this was like well before any of this camera business. Or
About Sam Sherman.
Yeah. Yeah. This was well after the Sam. I listened to things like 3 months late.
What do you like about those episodes?
Well, there's a lot that was very familiar to me about Sam. I think.
Yes, I remember your letter.
Yeah, he grew up in the Bronx. I mean, he grew up maybe 50 years before me or more. He went to my high school. He had a lot.
You went to your high school?
Yeah. Yeah, he had
Following in his footsteps.
Yeah, well, except for the Hollywood success or any success. No, I mean there was a lot that really reminded me a lot about my grandparents and the people I grew up around, and out in the desert, it was very special for me to hear. The second I heard his voice, it was like being back in Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx.
Okay, so did you know of all those haunts that he used to visit based upon your family?
Some of them, not. I mean, there were places that he mentioned that must have been gone by the time I was
Did you know Sam Sherman was a filmmaker? Did you know? I mean, did you know who he was before you heard him?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I did a deep dive after those 2 or 3 episodes. Yeah, they were. I mean, it brought back memories of being in high school and going to buy cameras and there used to be in 2000, let's say 2000, more camera stores in New York than there are in the entire country now. I remember there was some deal on a Nikon FM10 somewhere, and I went with my friend to go buy one for this photo class we were in, and the guy was like, "Do you want the pro version?" And
right.
It was like
the pro version.
All right, buddy. What is the pro version? He goes, "It's more pro."
Typical.
Yeah. It was kind of the days of funny salesmen and things that I missed that Sam brought back.
Yeah. So you caught the tail end before the amazing digital de-evolution.
Yeah.
Which is what it is, by the
is a
way.
de-evolution.
Sorry, everybody who's listening who shoots digital professionally. It's a de-evolution.
Can't all be perfect.
It's not as good.
Mark's here. I'm going to go fetch
It's pretty nice.
Oh, I should be ready with the camera?
Yo, absolutely.
You better
Okay.
fire that, buddy.
You guys
So
should do some more of those. Though.
You think so?
I mean, I've listened to 100 of these.
Okay.
Sam Sherman is by far. I mean, it's very personal to me, but
yeah.
Wow.
What'd I tell you, Mike? We talked about this the other day. I think we should do another Sam Sherman marathon.
Yeah. I shared it with a bunch of my friends, and what they got from it was they all loved it. What they got from it was totally different, right? So I came to it. I think I had missed that episode in the lineup, and a friend of mine, we were talking about Kiev's, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta listen to the Sam Sherman episode." And I came in and I got all of this old New York stuff, but then my buddy Eric, who's a cinematographer, listened to it and was like, "Oh, this Los Angeles stuff is amazing."
Oh, the LA stuff.
He's just
yeah.
lived 50 lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does
We're
something
on.
like this camera that we've got here run?
Well, would you buy this camera for $500? Today, only no. So I've been selling them for.
We want a quote on the professional model.
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
So,
Those are the custom suitcase.
The Pro model, which is hot pink and blue, is $200.
No kidding.
And I don't charge anything extra to make a custom nose cone for your nose, for your lens, but not your nose. But it will take an extra week, generally, depending upon my schedule. It takes a few hours to make a nose cone.
Well, I applaud anybody who's making cameras like this because all of our goals are to keep people shooting film, getting people interested in film, and large format especially is something that's slowly dying out, and so getting more and more people interested in it, and 4x5 is definitely the gateway drug of large format, and so getting the camera like this and seeing that resolution, seeing the depth of field is something that's definitely going to encourage people to go further, getting a monorail camera or a field camera. I mean, this is a great starter for people, and it's a great street, like we said before, a great street camera that you can use in place of your crown graphic or these other cameras that are dying because the parts are missing.
Lighter.
Yes, a heck of a lot lighter.
Here he comes. He's
Mark
pulling
is coming.
the Fedele. So
It's the stop and chat.
He likes to talk, yeah.
Hate to stop and chat.
I'm going to put
we're on dead air.
Mark's mic
We're on dead
closer to you, John.
Oh, no, Joe. No, Joby.
Now he's Joe.
Soon it'll just be J.
Yeah.
It'll be mud.
J.
Can you, with that camera, can you put a cold shoe on there so you put a flash and attach it to the shutters?
Yes, so it's got 3 cold shoes on the top.
Oh, does it? I didn't see them. Okay, cool.
One of those finders, the finder
I just thought they were indentations.
come out and stick with
Oh,
it.
everything's a cold shoe.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I usually use mine with a light meter that I made, and one of those, I think it's like a Prazia non-coupled rangefinder I bought for $30 on Craigslist, which I never use, but I like having there. Yeah.
There he is, Mark Dalzell. Get the house.
Hi, Mark.
Last guy gets out.
It's got splinters in the chair, Mark.
Fine.
Hey, Mark.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great.
Who is that?
That's Mike.
It's your dad. It's Christmas, 1990.
What did I miss?
What did you do?
Not much.
Even rolling?
Yeah, I would
call yourself
I
a cinematographer?
Do a test.
I take the cartridge
Well, thank
out,
you so
take
much
a
for that
mic.
segment. Now, back to.
No, thank you, Leslie.
We're on dead air.
Yeah.
He's got his bowling shirt on.
Mismatched plate and the Mickey Mouse fork.
We were going to put
the kids' table.
I was going to say we were going to put you at the kids' table, but
We could bring the cart table out.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mark Dalzell.
Oh, thanks.
Mark, I got to tell you, I always praise Mark. I always do. I really do. You're a real sport. I thought for sure you were going to throw a friggin' fit. See that John's using your gold-plated microphone, A. See that you're sitting in a folding chair. And then just leave. Like, basically just turn around and walk out. And take all the stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you took all the stuff and then locked the door and didn't let me back in. You like the stuff.
Oh, well, welcome.
That is my gold-plated microphone, though.
not anymore.
Welcome to the show, Mark Dalzell.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Ethan Moses, Cameradactyl OG.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, this was a hit in California. That film Fedele.
Sorry. The first camera that I made was like a folding 4x5, like a standard field camera. But if you think of like a Deerdorf as Legos, mine was sort of Duplos because everything, it wasn't like a copy of a Deerdorf in terms of what it looked like, but it worked the same way, so long as, it made out of plastic. But those bellows took forever and ever and ever to fold. I spent like a month folding them.
God.
I'm working on a laser cut 8x10, and when I put that out, I'll put out like a limited edition of the 4x5s. But I think for what goes into them, people should buy Busch Pressman D, America's finest camera.
You getting spiffs on that?
Yeah, really? Are you being sponsored?
Yeah, by the Busch Pressman Company.
Yeah.
Corporate shill.
Mark D, what was the reaction? What was the fresh perspective? We're out in California. Matt was shooting with the Cameradactyl. I was going to say Cameradactyl. Yeah. Shooting with the Cameradactyl. What was the reaction of people to the camera?
Everyone seemed to hate it, like universally hated it. No, everyone was fascinated by what's that camera Matt's got. Even when I got home and I posted pictures on Instagram, I got comments on my picture saying, "What's that camera Matt's got in his hand?" Like, what is that?
It wasn't Godai?
I said, and my response was, "Oh, that's a 4x5 point and shoot camera." And they were like, "What?" Like, yeah.
Anyone have any questions for Ethan regarding any of his?
Are your 3D printers running right now as we speak?
They are not. My girlfriend would kill me.
Ah, you're giving her some peace and quiet while you're gone.
Yeah, she does not. She does not run the printers.
Oh, you're not like going to go call her and say, "Listen, push number 3."
No, I've tried. It does not work very well.
Is there any way to make the body a brighter color, or are they just not light tight if they're not black?
So there are ways that I could make it light tight in other colors, but it's easiest to make it in black. I've only been offering it in black, but yeah, I could do a few hours of painting and drying and sanding and painting of the inside. Well, yeah. But yeah, for now it's available in colored grips, focusing rings, and focusing screens, and the rest.
You can't do it in like a two-tone color, like black on the inside and a different color on the outside?
You could with slightly different printers, which I could build for not very much money, but then it might take a few hundred hours to print.
Holy crap.
Switching between nozzles or switching between filaments on each layer. I think, spray paint, or I use a lot of Plasti Dip in a lot of my projects, is really
spray
nice.
paint the inside, I guess, to make it light tight.
Mm-hmm. What is the name of your company?
I've
been calling it Camera Dactyl Company.
Yeah, I've just been calling it Camera Dactyl. I may live to regret that one. I just, I had this one camera. I was like, I need a company name.
Oh, that is the company name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing I think is to pick a nonsense name that one day you could trademark. Not that I'm ever going to trademark my few hundred camera company.
I think it's a great name.
It's a medium name.
A kid like it. Like your kid would like it. Oh, Camera Dactyl.
You want one, even though he has no idea what it is,
Yeah.
just because of the name.
It's a gateway camera.
Yeah. Usually your first instincts are good on these things when it comes to naming things.
Thanks.
So.
But that's how I felt when I saw the My Little Pony bellows. Like, immediately I was like, oh my God, I have to have one of those. Whatever that thing even is, it's so ridiculous. I want one.
How do people find you?
They can find me at Cameradactyl.com. That's CAMERADACTYL.com, or Cameradactyl on Instagram, or Buttergrip on Instagram.
Buttergrip.
Oh.
So wait, I didn't see what that was.
Here's the butter.
What is that?
It's
a butter container.
You put butter in it?
Yeah, well, you can put 5 rolls of your favorite 35mm film in there.
Or butter.
Or 2 rolls and a stick of butter.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, so I also
put
make...
it, and then put it in your fridge.
Yeah.
Will it fit Kerrygold?
I also think it's a brilliant idea. Like the whole, everyone knows butter.
Right.
It's kind of a funny name to attribute to something else. The butter grip, butter case, butter it's butter. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Butterface.
It's like names people could automatically relate to. There's a bit of whimsy to it.
Yeah, and there's not too many camera companies already called Butter something or other.
Right.
But,
so what you say you have a butter grip? So for any of my cameras or any of my Canons or Mark O'Brien's Nikons, is a grip for it?
Probably. I think I've got about 38 or 39 grip models, which fit almost 50 cameras on the site now.
Wow.
I'm slowly borrowing camera collections from friends of mine to model. So they're just, back in the day, camera bodies were pretty squared off, and then they added motor drives, and you had to have room for either batteries or the motor, and then we got this ergonomic grip. And then, later on in digital cameras, we have like a battery compartment there. And so, mine is just basically like a little plastic bump.
I need some accessories for Super 8 and regular 8. So
those are going to be big sellers.
So here's a brand new light. Mm-hmm. Brand new. Now, this Agfa Super 8 camera happens to have a cold shoe on top. Mm-hmm. But most cameras, like the Minolta or anything that's over there, does not. But we all have tripod bottom. So couldn't you invent some kind of thing that came up that gave it a cold shoe?
A tripod mount cold shoe,
AKA
thing.
Bracket?
A butter bracket. A butter bracket.
Yeah.
A butter bracket.
Parquet
bracket.
A butter bracket for Super 8 or regular 8. So that folks, because this would be handy, don't you think? So this light, which is this is called a Neewer, Neewer CN160.
It's like an LED panel.
This is a panel. It's cheap, $20.
You know what's funny? Wow. I sell guitar tuners from that same company.
Oh, get out of
New
town.
Year, yeah.
Are you getting spiffs?
No. But come on down.
You could order this. Can you order this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they actually make the tripod screws that go into my camera.
But what if but see, a lot of times they're on the bottom, and sometimes they don't have anything on the top.
Right.
A clip would be fantastic.
Why don't you just
clip-on hot shot?
Epoxy.
Culture.
Or just hot
Gorilla Glue,
no,
man.
yeah, Gorilla Glue or cyanacrylate glue and just glue it on.
People aren't going to want to what do you call it? Destroy or some kind of bracket that when you put it on, and then underneath the bracket would be the actual tripod,
Sure.
so that am I making any sense?
What about
it'd be like a flash bracket for a still camera.
Yes.
Yeah. What about like a helmet with hot shoes?
Yeah, really.
Oh my God!
The Hemi-Cam.
The hot helmet.
I like that.
That's great.
I like that. But do people email you with special requests?
Yes. So sometimes they're really great. Sometimes I think they're really great, but they will never sell, and I can't devote like a month to making them. And sometimes they're like the worst ideas. One that was like the best so far was somebody asked for those little film box tab holders that go on the back of your camera to put either like the end of a 35 millimeter box,
a film reminder,
120, and I got it, and like. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. This won't take me too long to make, and so like by the next day, I had it on my store. I've been selling those.
That's sticks on the back of a camera.
Yeah, I mean, you can like use double-sided tape, or I just use epoxy, or
because it's not holding a lot of weight.
Yeah. You like this camera? I can tell.
What if
it's a nice camera.
What if you made a bracket that you could screw through this?
Yes.
That came out and up.
That's exactly what we want to do.
It's like a flash bracket
for. You were talking about putting something.
No. From the bottom, because every camera, regardless of it's Super 8 or regular 8, has a...
Except for some of the brownies.
Yeah.
Did you know that you can probably order them right now off from Dotline?
What?
Those
really?
brackets.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm not inventing anything.
No. Sorry, but you're
it's
not.
It's just like a flash.
Are you high right now?
Flash brackets for...
Yeah.
But they're obsolete because no one has a cold shoe.
Then you should be getting a good deal on them.
Yeah.
Oh, you think
they are cold shoes?
Maybe I should start looking in those boxes of stuff that we get.
But you know what?
I did one the other
it
day.
will not be as fun as doing a new product that's branded that has a inverse molded, inverse embossed FPP.
Oh.
That's going to
Mike,
cost extra, Mike.
How
that to
many
his
people
girlfriend.
do you think have these Minolta? Is that an 8mm camera?
By the end of this year,
It's never stopped Mike
hundreds,
before.
Tens and tens of people.
I sometimes can't help myself from working on like really
obscure stuff.
Yeah, things that I know that if I sold to 100% of that camera's user, like I would sell 50 of them.
Right.
But I do it
That's
anyway.
a public service.
Could you do an exclusive deal with FPP?
Yeah,
the
what
right price.
weird, obscure things do you never want to sell?
Oh, no, I'll be able to sell a ton of these.
Let me see.
Yeah.
You don't have a calipers here, do you?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
A caliper?
I have that toy pony. Is that a
It's a galloper.
Oh.
Yeah, that's doable.
The wheels are working.
I think we can make one of these.
Oh.
I need to make some
You're going to be
measurements.
sitting on a gold mine, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, would it be a specific? We're talking about Super 8 and regular 8 again. This is like it's going to be like the 2012 of the Polaroid. Like every conversation just led to Polaroid.
I'm just going to say the same thing. Yeah.
So we'll talk.
Okay, yes.
All right, that's
Or for
great.
pizza.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When's pizza?
Soon.
Like literally right now.
It's noon.
Oh,
All right. So how many slices?
All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Let's see how far in we are. Yeah, we could. This has been
an hour.
This has been your show.
Hey, thank you.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Thanks, guys. This is
Now-
really cool to be on like a real celebrity
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I'm always shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so used to being beat down by Mark and John, making fun of my major award.
No, we never made fun of that.
For the people listening at home, I thought the award was fictitious. It was sitting at my at my
Because
chair
you didn't
when I sat
believe he
down
actually
today.
could have won something, or because you didn't think it existed?
No, I thought he was just getting razzed. But it's,
See?
No. See, that's why he made it into that gigantic belt buckle he's wearing right now.
By the way, folks at home need to know this is not sponsored content. There's no such thing as sponsored content here
Busch
at the
Pressman
FPP?
D, the camera of your dreams.
There's no ads on the FPP website. By the way, I visit other sites.
Everywhere.
I can't take it. I do not want to go
B&H
to...
is the worst.
There's just ads all over the... No, there's no ads here. This is all an organic... This is an organic relationship. It's great. Is there anything we left out?
Busch Pressman D.
Now that's your favorite camera?
No, I really like that camera.
But he's
I had
got one for sale right now.
No, I thought I sold it
eBay
years ago.
username
But,
is
yeah. My eBay username is Busch Pressman D.
So, do you think this is like a 4-pie day?
4 pie? Yeah.
Here in the East Coast, pizza is called pizza pie. Now, what is the most culture shock for you being in Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Is that even in the U.S.?
If you say...
Coming from
Some
New
people
York.
have questioned it. Yeah, it's the food, man. It's not great. So, like New Mexican food, I was like, yeah, I like Mexican food. It's good. But New Mexican food is like when people from Oklahoma came to New Mexico and they were like, we can make this, but without spices. Yeah, but there's no bagels, no pizza, like Chinese food is just like one thing instead of like a panopticon of delicious things. Yeah,
that's the word of the day
from every angle.
I know for a fact that there's pizza because I remember that time in Breaking Bad when they threw a pizza on his roof.
I make the best pizza in Albuquerque.
Oh my gosh!
But I had a slice of pizza yesterday in Brooklyn, and I thought, man, my pizza is terrible. No, Albuquerque's culinary scene. I maybe get in trouble from the 3 people in Albuquerque that I meet, and then maybe we can become friends. But no,
Guy Ferreri's
I'm
gonna
not.
call you. He's gonna be like, what
I'm not a fan of the food in Albuquerque, but New Mexico is a excellent state. Everybody should go
beautiful.
visit it.
Just not if you're hungry.
Yeah.
Or if you want
Do not visit if you're hungry.
Eat before you come.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so what do you think? How many pie day is
4
this?
pie. 4.
I think 4 pie day.
You getting the garbage pie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So then get 5 because you always run out of pizza.
You think so?
Every single time we run out of pizza.
Well, wait. I'm good for 3.
I'm good for 3.
I don't know what a garbage
That's
pie
6.
is.
So
but
1, 2,
disgusting.
3, 4, 5.
Sounds pretty good to
Let's
me.
just say, what do you do? 2, 3?
2 or 3, depending on what.
So
Let's
it's
just say 3 for everybody.
8 to a pizza.
If you cut your pizza
That's
into
5?
12
If
slices,
people
you're
don't get
barbarian.
greedy, 4, but if
People are greedy.
if the garbage pie
What
goes
do they say?
over,
People are
5.
the worst.
Okay, so how
Just take it home.
So
or
we need
eat
to
it
get a
later.
garbage pie. What else? A regular pie.
Pepperoni.
Garbage pie.
Sausage.
Pepperoni.
Extra mutz.
Extra mutz on the
Pepperoni.
pepperoni. Hey, do you say mutz or mozzarella
of course
in
not.
Brooklyn?
Garbage.
Mozzarella.
You don't say mutz at all.
Regular.
No.
It's a
Italian
total
sausage?
New Jersey thing.
I'm like, maybe. I'm
sausage
I'm like
pie?
a
Yeah.
Brooklyn Jew.
Do you say
No.
sausage and pepper?
calamat?
Sausage
No,
and pepper.
I don't know.
Nobody says
I say
that.
gabagool.
You don't.
Yeah.
But you say it as a joke.
Yeah.
Stop it. Don't encourage you. That's a ridiculous New Jersey
It's a tri-state.
affectation.
We're not doing this Hawaiian pizza, right?
No.
Yes!
What? No pineapple.
Hawaiian
on
pizza was invented in Canada.
Pineapple.
I insist on Hawaiian.
So we have garbage pie with anchovies,
Oh, extra anchovies.
1 pepperoni, 1 regular pie, sausage and pepper. We got 1 more.
Are there any vegetarians here?
Get more pepperonis.
And
I don't even know the number.
I'm going to give you the number, and we're going to call it so people at home can hear. People at home who do not live in the New York metropolitan area can hear
Like
what
I
an
said.
Italian pizzeria sounds like.
What the hell do
This is
you
what a
want?
New York
Yeah.
pizza sounds
I'm going to
like.
give you the list.
I think we should have ate before.
Yeah.
If they say just rattle off the order.
Owen, would you like to call John as shrugging his responsibility?
Dramatization.
I'm the new guy. Why do I have to?
Yeah, what the fuck do you want?
Gonna get a gabagool pizza here.
Extra much. Give me some spaghetti. And a side of focaccia. And forget about it.
So this is what happened. You'll call the guy.
I'll call the guy. Yeah.
I'll mouth to you what to get, and then you'll repeat it.
That's gonna go on camera.
I'll try and make you laugh.
Okay, what's the number?
201.
Oh, 201.
No, man, that's 22224.
What's a garbage pie?
Oh, everything special, everything with you have to tell them with anchovies.
Extra.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, can I order some pizzas to pick up, please?
Okay, what would you like?
I need 2 pepperoni pizzas,
1 regular pizza.
1 regular pizza, cheese pizza,
So 1 sausage pepper.
1 sausage and pep, And one everything pie. Sausage and pepper.
Okay.
And then one everything pie with extra anchovies.
What extra what?
Anchovies. Anchovies. And that's it.
All right, you got your phone number?
973. 0576. 76.
All right, you got it. Can we go 15, 20 minutes?
Okay, great. Thank you.
So in the Midwest, when you order pizza, it's at least an hour.
Yeah, 5
That's
pizzas.
amazing.
15 minutes.
I think he's.
No, he's already
He must be.
It's usually just like 30 minutes.
It's at least 30 minutes. It's like when you order Chinese food, it's always 5 minutes.
A podcast at filmphotographyproject.com.
Oh my god!
If you have any hate mail for Ethan,
Oh, jeez.
any anger,
Or love
Ethan
mail.
at Cameradactyl.com.
oh
love mail.
no, we have one more letter. I'm sorry. Where's that letter?
We have a lot of
Where's the
letters.
all caps? Oh,
It's going to be ready in 1 minute.
I don't think he did it because he was angry. I think his keyboard was just broken.
no.
Because everything about that letter is in
Well,
caps.
you seem to
I think he's on
calm.
control.
Give it to Mark to read.
It starts
Yeah.
out. Oh, okay, I'll read it.
Come on, that's yelling at us.
Dear so-called FPP.
No, it doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't say that. You've got a message from Carl Mirek. It's pronounced Carl Mirek. The Flickr name is What is Flickr? Here's the message. Your podcast would get a lot more listens if you gave more information on the subjects discussed. Just list some keywords. For example, Leica M, Fomapan, film development, suggested first used film camera, etc.
That's all it says. That's all it says?
Love always. Carl Mirek.
That's all it says.
Hugs and kisses.
Like even his email address is all in capitals.
Told you.
That man's 90 years old.
Maybe he's just so used to yelling at people, he just keeps his cap locks on.
Exactly.
He's got to be from Jersey.
That's an angry.
Nothing nice.
Ethan, is that an angry letter?
Doesn't seem angry.
Those are my notes on the back.
Like, let me show you how
He's-
sharp this lens is type of guy.
Okay, well, if I read it as if it wasn't in caps.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, we've got a message here from Barry.
Barry?
No, I haven't started watching Barry, John. Shut up.
Oh, damn you.
Your podcast would get a lot more listens if you gave more information on the subjects discussed. Just list some keywords. For example, Leica M. We've ever talked about that? Fomapan. We've never talked about that. Film development. Suggested first used film camera, etc. I suggest the Minolta X700.
Okay,
I
but I see.
suggest
I
the
don't.
Olympus OM1.
I don't think
None.
the keywords are going to get us any more listens.
No, it's true.
This is the podcast apocalypse. Everyone's podcasting.
We got to like Snapchat and InstaFace.
Yeah, yeah.
My gram.
Well, thank you, Barry.
Tinder. Grinder.
Very appreciated. Hey, we're gonna go have pizza, and so should you. If you do not live in the New Jersey, New York area, go into your supermarket and buy what? What would
Eat a burger.
Yeah, what would you?
Oh, no, not from Five Guys.
Elio's.
Oh,
Elio's
Five
and Tree
Guys.
Tavern.
Screaming Sicilian.
You know, if you go into Five Guys, get one burger, fries, and a drink that costs you
$25.
Wait, before we finish.
Oh, here we go.
Not John, but did you all see Darren Riley's
Oh, my
Instagram?
God.
Yes.
15, 16 pounds.
16 pounds
70.
80! What the fuck?
It's so...
And what did you get? It's so messy. There's fries everywhere.
You gotta dig for them and just to get to your burger.
For your burger. What the fuck?
I didn't.
So...
I didn't even take my rubbish out.
Oh my god! Yeah, he just left all his junk on the
I'll
table.
play this guy's for. We'll play it for you a little bit. This is hysterical.
Ethan, you're going to stick around, right?
Yeah, if you'll have me.
Okay, great. We seem to be...
There's something called a garbage pie I'm interested in.
All right. We'll see you guys. Podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. Perhaps this will be the last show. Maybe we've finally jumped the shark.
Oh, maybe.
We did talk about film.
Pizza Project.
Just been to Five Guys. You ever been? What the fuck? I didn't really pay much attention to the prices as I was ordering. And I thought, I'll treat myself, all right. So I had a burger, and you get a load of free toppings. Toppings are free. Woo, fucking not. You're paying for it, I'm telling you. So I got that. and regular fries and a drink, and it, £16.70. What the fuck's that all about? Even had to get my own drink. Standing there waiting for him to just fucking cook my dinner, and oh man, what £16.70 for one of the shittest burgers I've ever had as well. Absolutely rank it was. Most of it ended up on the table because burgers these days are that fucking big. They should be like, give it an inch, 2 inches. I want to be able to pick my burger up.
This one thing in your brain, life is unfair.